PTSD worse if they were to like keep
Yes.
it in?
Yeah, it does. It gets intense. A lot of times, wives and partners tend to see the symptoms probably faster than the vet does. You know, especially in their sleep. They're always fighting in their sleep. Literally, we've had guys come in and say they hit their wife accidentally because they thought it was somebody else while they were dreaming. Because, you know, you reach over and go, hey, you know, wow.
Yeah.
They get smacked.
And then, like, what are, like, could you give me, like, an example of, like, a moderate PTSD and then something that is pretty severe?
Sure. A moderate PTSD, actually in the Code of Federal Regulations, the VA has a rating for various different levels of PTSD. A real moderate one is kind of like moderate symptoms of not being able to function in the workspace or social activities. The next level up, which is the 50% rating, it's more along the lines of reduced reliability in both social and occupational settings.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
You rate this by percent, like 10%, 20%, or
Yeah, the VA actually has a rating for it.
And how does that?
That's for disability for PTSD.
Okay.
For, you know, when a veteran comes home, here's another thing that comes into play, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. When you get into the military service, you actually sign a contract to become part of the government property. And if government property is damaged, the government compensates you. PTSD damages human beings. Okay? So the VA has a rating system to where they rate your PTSD: mild, moderate, severe, totally inept. Okay, those are the 5 stages of what we call mental health adjustment disorders. Okay? So the vet, depending on how his symptoms are, depending on how they affect him, they'll be rated. They'll be rated. So that's kind of a way of really understanding how PTSD is rated. Okay, and that's in CFR 38, Book C of the Code of Federal Regulations. And that's the one that the VA follows for how serious your PTSD, or actually how serious your mental health disorder is. Because that also includes depression and anxiety issues.
And then, for the government, like, what will they do to, like, make this better? Will they, like, put them in a counseling program, like, here, or, and then if it's more severe, will it be, like, medication?
Depends on the person, and they actually volunteer to come in for treatment. And it's based on either them themselves or their family say, you need to get in there. And so what they do is they can do several things. They can go up to Fort Miley, which is the medical center here in San Francisco. I think the other one is Palo Alto. They have post-traumatic stress programs up in those areas. The vet centers, and there's 5 of them in the Bay Area. It's an outpatient program where the vet comes in when he needs to, and we deal with his stuff. Also, there's several VA clinics that they can go to. Another cool part about the vets coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq is they have 5 years of free health care with the VA. No matter what. No matter what. They have 5 years after they get discharged to use the VA system.
Family?
That includes their family.
With VA.
Do you think the VA is like doing a good enough job at helping people coming back with PTSD?
Well, you know, here's the thing about that. The VA is very, very avid about helping anybody, you know, if they come forward. One of the biggest things, remember I was telling you, has a fear of authority figures?
Yeah.
Well, biggest ones are military, and the VA is kind of like almost like the military. And so when people flash and they get fear, they don't want to come out, they don't want to do anything with anybody, being near anybody or whatever. Until they come forward for them to really look at it, you know, we can only do so much. Although we do a lot of outreach. There's the vet services here in San Francisco are very, very proactive. We have many, many events where we talk about this stuff. Plus, there's a military system. It's called TAPS, which is the Transitional Action Program, where when somebody leaves the military service, they must attend a TAP program. And in that TAP program, they get told all the information they need. But again, treatment isn't started until you walk in the door. You know, a lot of times what we do too is we'll work with local police and local mental health clinics to, you know, get people going in the right direction. Cool part about the VA system, actually the vet center system, is services here, if you're eligible for them, they're free and as long as you need us. If you go to the outside world, to have me for your therapy would be about $150 to $200 an hour. Okay? It's all free here to anybody, including family members. We do family counseling as well as couples counseling. So the services are available.
Yeah, they just have to.
It's when they show up at the door. But you know, I got to tell you this too. Vets are very interesting people. You know, they're taught in boot camp to suck it up and put it away and make things happen and be strong. Okay? So a lot of times they come home and they hit the pavement, start going to school, start getting their family together, start, you know, marrying the old girlfriend and getting their life back together again because life was so short over in the war. They want to start life and get going. What happens is, like I said, PTSD can take almost up to 10 years for anybody to come in. A lot of times these guys have to fail at a lot of things in order to wake up and smell the coffee. You know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of look at when are they motivated to come to see us. Well, when they feel that it's not a stigma of, you know, you're crazier than a loon, and I can't do this, I gotta get some help. When's that gonna happen? Well, usually, I would say probably takes about 5 or 6 years for the vets to show up at our doorstep. You know, so we're just starting to see the veterans of 2004, 5, 6, and 7. You know, right now. We won't see the 8, 9, and 10 until later on. You know, until they, you know, they haven't succeeded in anything. So that's the way it, you know, it seems to go right now.
And as a last thing, is there anything do you think we should know else? Anything else that you didn't mention that we should probably know?
Are you going into service?
I
Don't plan on it.
Well, just to kind of let you know, it's if you do know friends that are vets, one of the biggest things that people do is they're so curious what it's like in a war zone. So one of the first questions they ask a vet is, how many people did you kill? That's the stupidest question to ask a vet. It's kind of like, you know, how's it feel? Because that's what you're asking. How's it feel to do that, to take a life?
I mean, what percentage of veterans like come back like from today actually kill somebody? I wouldn't think it'd be that many, would it?
Well, the firefighting in Iraq is gone, but in Afghanistan there's a lot. But you know, the thing about it is they're in a third world country, and they're not necessarily doing the shooting, but they're seeing the results of it. And they're seeing the people being blown up, and they're seeing body parts. And it's some really ugly shit. And they're always under fire. There's a lot of mortar attacks that happen to people in the green zone, in the compound. They're always on guard. And a lot of times the IUDs have affected a lot of, actually the things that kill our vets is the explosives. Okay? Those are the things that really knock them out. And even now, I've heard rumors that kids have thrown, you know, small Muslim children have thrown bombs or, you know, whatever into the Humvees.
Right.
And it spins around in there and stuff. It's pretty, you know, you may not be doing, you know, the fireworks type stuff, the Rock'em Sock'em John Wayne
But
stuff.
you still see.
But just being in the vicinity, you're a victim of whatever comes down the road.
Right.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the guys, you know, never saw firefighting, but I know one guy, he was in a Bradley and he was protecting a concert that was going on. And his Bradley went over a bomb, a tank bomb, but cut the wire to the initiating wire for the cell phone to make the bomb explode. But he was up for 72 hours after that. Think of what would happen if we didn't cut the wire.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that these guys probably hear and see a lot more of than the rock 'em down, shoot 'em,
Right.
firefighting stuff. But right now, Afghanistan's really heavy duty right now. You know, a lot is going on in Afghanistan. So, we cover a lot of things. Did I scare the crap out of you?
That really helps us a lot.
All right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Do you have a business card or something?
I have one, but I don't have one now.
Alright.
Oh, yeah, we
But you know what? I can give you my